Michael, where are you from?
I'm from Finland. I'm working for NordCloud.
We can tell by the name, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably. So, the company that you're working for, what's your position there?
I'm an offering lead for responsible for our data and application development services.
Okay. All right. Could you give us a brief abstract of what your presentation will be all about?
I'll be talking about how to build application services for customers in a modern way, leveraging the capabilities of public cloud. As the previous speaker said, working more backwards from the customer need and using higher level abstractions to make the service rather than working bottom up from infrastructure.
Okay. So have fun with Mikael Puittinen. It's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you. So, probably digital transformation, digital adoption is really becoming a key success factor across industries. So that's kind of a cliche, but we see that we see new players entering established markets, such as N26 as a purely digital player, or Revolut entering a fairly traditional business, a business such as banking. Or then we see companies that are modeling that are changing their current business models towards more of a, let's say, service-based model based on digital services that are used to embark those services, such as BMW with Drive Now, or then the traditional thing that digital sales or digital sales channels are becoming a dominant or more and more important channel for companies such as Porsche to reach their customers. So that said, for ability to develop software, ability to develop services is in a cost-effective and rapid way is becoming a strategic success factor for any industry, not only software companies. And that's where public cloud can do a lot to help companies succeed with their digital initiatives. So typically within public cloud, people just consider that it's just a data center, but operated by something else. But there's a lot more to the public cloud than just compute and storage capacity provision self-service that can be used for developing these new kinds of services. So the public cloud provides higher abstraction services that represent typical building blocks of that you typically see in your application or service architectures, and those building blocks enable you for rapid and cost-effective so-called serverless development of digital services. So this is an example, for example, from the portfolio for Azure. So we can see that there's a lot of services for different kinds of needs. So I haven't drawn the traditional VMs and these kind of storage services here, but we can see that there's a lot of, let's say, different services for object storage, for compute, for managed databases to store your data. Different services for application integrations, whether you are working with queues or whether you are working with streams of events, of a large volume of events that you need to process, or content delivery, where you are able to distribute content to your customers from a local or very close location for minimal latency. But then in the more advanced scenarios, services for running analytics on your data, services for hooking devices to the internet, IoT kind of scenarios. So linking the physical to digital with maximum ease. But also then a very, let's say, interesting topic is the artificial intelligence part. So there's a lot of ready services from the public cloud vendors in the fields of computer vision, speech to text, text to speech, language understanding, text analytics, these kind of services, which make all of those achievements in the field of artificial intelligence available for all developers, regardless of their background and expertise in machine learning. And then there's the category of low-code services such as logic apps and power apps, which enable developers to build simple applications for internal needs with minimal amount of coding required. So really the advantage comes from here that in a traditional, let's say, cloud-enabled architecture, which goes bottom up from setting up virtual machines and managing operating systems and then installing some software there, some databases or middleware things, and then when you go into the development of the application, you start thinking about things like scalability, security, and so on, and only after that you are able to focus on the actual business logic that you are implementing. So when building with those services, the qualities that I mentioned earlier are built in within those services. So scalability, durability, management of those applications, they are always up. SLAs with multiple nines, operating systems and so on. You don't even know what operating system the service is running. You don't need to care. You focus on the actual business issue, not running infrastructure, thinking about operating systems and patches and these kind of things. And that, by leveraging those, this is like real-life experience shows that you are able to develop with under 50% of the time, which translates typically to money, compared to traditional development approaches where you actually build on top of server infrastructure or operating systems. And then, since it's a true pay-per-use model, if you have, by night time, you don't have customers reaching your service, you don't pay for the services. You really pay when the load is there. So you are able to achieve up to 90% operating saving costs by adopting these more advanced abstractions from public cloud vendors. And that's really what it does. It's not only about doing the things that we are already doing in a cheaper way. It's also about making a business case for the simple things that you need to make happen that were not feasible before. Since it's cheaper, you are able to produce higher value with the same cost, or then to cut down costs of an existing implementing an existing solution in such a way that it becomes feasible from, let's say, value cost perspective. And this is not just theory. This is something that is already happening out there. So we see companies adopting these kind of serverless architectures in all public cloud environments or infrastructures. So, for example, to pick a few, Fujifilm, the film company, built on Azure a service for managing all of those images and printing them based on Azure Cloud. And by adopting the serverless architectures and the higher abstraction services provided by Azure, they were able to cut down development time by 75%. So going even beyond the 50% that has been seen. Another Kempi, a welding equipment manufacturer. So you would consider that welding equipment is fairly traditional. There's no digital in that business. Well, Kempi went ahead and decided that they will overcome some issues in the current business. One of those being the shortage of skilled welders. So by providing the traditional welding equipment with interfaces that can provide more information to the welder, they are able to augment the talent of that medium welder to become let's say, a highly skilled welder. So they went on and built WeldEye, their welding management system, and there decided to go all in with serverless and we're able to cut down those 50% of development costs. No purely, the development team consisting purely of developers, no one taking care of infrastructure. So focusing all investments on actually implementing the business logic that is to be implemented. But of course, then there's the question: doesn't that causes a vendor lock? If you build on those, let's say, building blocks that were shown, so that's the typical question that we see. The question is more, first of all, if you are able to develop the thing at 50% or 75% lower costs, you are able to do it twice with the same cost that you are doing, let's say, with the traditional way. So are you that certain about your need to transition from a cloud vendor to another that you are willing to bet on having to move, or is actually the thing that you should worry about more about is your own competition? Because if your competition is taking those into adoption, then they will go double the speed that you are going while developing on traditional means. And it comes down to choosing whether you want to be the one disrupting or the one that would be disrupted by either your competitors or new players such as N26 or whomever. And of course, this requires, in order to succeed, if you go with your traditional hosting partners or development partners that are very much focused on running on infrastructure, then you might not get the advice that you would need to go with that, and that's where we fall in. So NordCloud, we're at booth G22, purely focusing on public cloud, helping customers in the adoption, public cloud adoption from cloud strategy to operating services, operating around Europe, cloud transformation, cloud infrastructure, application development. And that was that. G22, please come if you are interested to discuss more about this. So, any questions?
Do you provide serverless itself?
Sorry?
Do you provide serverless services itself?
Uh,
I'm in your company, NordCloud.
We are building on, we are not providing ourselves these kind of PaaS kind of services. We are building on the services provided by the hyperscalers. So that means Amazon, Microsoft, or Google. But and we are building on top of that. So building the services that our customers are building for their end customers, not the services that are the building blocks for the developers.
Okay.
Any further questions? If you got them, please wait for the microphone to be turned to you, handed over to you. Any questions to Mikael? Okay, if they arise later on, I guess you will be found at your booth.
G22 today, or we'll have people there for the whole of the CloudFest. I'll be myself on still today here, so please pop by if you get something that you need to ask.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mikael Puittinen.
Yeah. Thank you.